Hi everyone, here's a helper video to aid you in placing a follower rod that we will build into your box and driving it with the cams. Okay, so let's start by just opening up our box assembly. And the first thing I want to do is I want to show you something I just discovered. It's not a great discovery, but it's important and simple. It's a simple discovery, but a good one, right? And the simple discovery is this. Where's that cam? Well, I'm going to compare it to, say, the edge of this rod so that I can place the holes that I drill up here, or that I place on the top, place them in the right position right above these cams. And so the other day I was trying to do it just by kind of trial and error, and that worked, but it wasn't the best solution. And here's a better solution. If I click on that surface there, and then that little edge there, look what shows up down in the bottom corner here. Center distance, 3.25 inches. And when I mouse over it, a black line lights up on the feature. Right? See that? Black line lights up. So what am I measuring between? Well, I'm measuring a straight line, a horizontal line, which is desirable. A horizontal measurement between the edge of the axle and the face of the cam is 3¼ inches. So I'm going to write that down. 3¼ inches. I just wrote it down. And so when I place my hole, I'm going to place it 3¼ inches in from here. If I place it 3¼ inches in from the edge of there, it'll be right over the edge of this cam. But I want it over the center. So since the cam is a full 1/4 inch thick, I'm going to go 3¼ inches in from the edge to get to here, and then I'm going to do another half of quarter inch, another half of a 1/4 inch to get to the center, another 1/8 of an inch in. Okay, and so that's that one. Now the other one, I have this is actually not going to be a straight line if I choose that edge because it's sticking out towards me quite a bit, and it's going to go down at an angle. So I'm actually going to rotate a little bit here. I'm going to measure the distance from there to the edge, and that's 5.5 inches. Right? And again, if I mouse over, I see that I'm measuring a nice straight line there. Right? 5.5 inches between those 2 points, as represented by the dotted black line. Right? So again, when I place my hole, I'm going to move it 5.5 inches in from here, and that would take it to here, but I want another 1/8 of an inch to get it over the center of the cam. So that'll be 5.5 plus an 1/8. Okay, so that's important, and I just wrote down the 5.5, and so that is going to be, I think, easier than the hit and miss method that I was promoting the other day. Let's see, we're also going to need, let's do this next, we also need a new part. Create a part studio, we need the follower rod. So let's go ahead and choose whatever plane you want to sketch on and sketch on it. We'll look right at it. Choose the circle tool and make a 1/4 inch circle, 0.25. 1/4 inch circle, finish the sketch, zoom in on it, choose it, and extrude it to 4 inches. So now we'll have a 4-inch long, 1/4 inch diameter follower rod. Take a look at it. There it is, very good. And let's name it something appropriate like follower rod. Okay, back to our assembly. Now what I want to do is I want to draw on the top surface here. I want to draw 2 circles, and then I want to place them using the dimension tool, and then extrude them and remove material, make them holes. Okay, so let's get them in place first. The first step here is right-clicking on the top surface. Now if you're not using an external mouse, that on the Macs and the Chromebooks, it's a single click, so mouse over this, and a single click with 2 fingers brings up the right click menu. Okay, and I'm going to edit in context. Now I can edit that part, but within the assembly, so I can still see the other stuff. Okay, I still have to choose it and sketch on it. And now I'm going to look right at it, and maybe zoom out a tiny bit. I'm just going to grab my circle tool and do a 0.3 inch diameter circle because the rod itself is a 1/4 inch. So I'm going to add another 5/100ths to it, right? Just to give us some clearance. So 0.3, doesn't really matter where you put it yet. We're just going to use the dimension tool for that. And oops, I deselected my circle tool. Another circle, same size, 0.3 for our hole. And this axis is super easy because this is exactly 4 inches long. From here to here is 4 inches long. Okay, and I think if I turn off my circle tool, I'll probably see that if I do that to there. Yeah, 4 inches. Right? And there's the black dotted line over here. Watch, when I mouse over the 4, that's 4 inches, in case you forgot. But we'll click out here to get rid of it. Choose your dimension tool. So if that's 4 inches, I just want this distance here to be 2 inches. Same thing with this one. I want this distance here to here to be 2 inches. And then it'll be dead center over the axle. Okay, so they're both right over the axle now. Now, let's use those measurements I took earlier and dimension it from here to the center, right? So from here to the center, as I explained earlier, I want that to be 3.25 inches plus 1/8. 3.25, I could do the math myself, or I could just be a little bit lazy and have on shape to it, plus 1/8, close parentheses. And in theory, that is exactly over the cam. We'll check in a second, but I'm sure it is. It can't be any other way. And this one too, same thing, but this is the 5, so from here to here was 5.5. That's to the face of the cam. But I don't want to go to the face of the cam. I want to go to the center of the cam. So I'm going to do 5.5 plus 1/8. That gets me halfway across the 1/4 inch thick cam. 5.5 inches plus 1/8. And now that is over the second cam. I accept the drawing. I'm just going to take a look here, make sure. Right, those do appear to be in place. Oops. Those do appear to be in place. Right. That dot is directly over that cam, and that dot is directly over that cam. Okay, so we're good to go here. Right? Not quite done. We drew the circles, but now we have to turn the circles into holes. Right, so let's zoom in on those a little bit. Take a closer look. And choose one of them so it lights up. Oh, I chose the whole surface by accident. Oh, I left the drawing mode. So wait, I've got to go back to that sketch that I did. Sketch 3, edit. I should not have left that sketch. But back to editing the sketch. And I'm going to, oh wait, that should be okay, right? You leave the sketch and then you extrude. Yeah, so somehow what I did a moment ago, I chose the whole surface. But I just want to choose inside that circle. I did it again. Just want that circle. So that one's going well, and then this one, just so the circle lights up. That's just the perimeter. I don't want that. This shouldn't be so difficult. There it is. And there we go. So, sorry, usually that doesn't take so many tries, but there we go. I got the 2 circles selected. I will extrude. 1 inch is fine. It's a 1/4 inch thick material, but we don't want to add material. We want to remove material. And that'll make it go the other way, and I accept that. And there are the 2 holes right above the cams. Let's go to the assembly view and look down inside those holes. Yeah, I can see the cam surfaces right there. Right, I can see those cam surfaces. We are right above them. Now these holes will be in the bottom too because the top and the bottom are the same piece, just 2 different instances of the same piece. But that's okay. It's not a boat. It doesn't matter if it leaks. It's not going to sink. I probably will draw a new 5 by 4 inch piece and stick it in there just to get rid of those holes, but not right now. That's not our mission right now. And that's pretty straightforward stuff. I would like to now bring that follower rod in. Right, so bring that follower rod in. In fact, we need it twice. There's one. And a follower rod again, twice. Okay, accept that. And now we're going to do something called the slider constraint. Slider mate. And that will allow these to slide up and down inside the holes, but not move otherwise. So I'm going to choose that surface there. I think I just chose the whole rod by accident. I'm going to redo that. Slider mate is right here. I'm going to choose the surface right here. That looks better. Before the whole rod lit up yellow. And I want to mate that to that hole. This is, get a little bit of a better look at it. There we go. So there's one. Very good. Now I'd like to do that a second time with the other rod, with the other pusher rod in the other hole. And so slide mate and zoom in, choose that surface right there. Got it. And up here to the hole, right there. There it goes, accept. Okay, so I've got them in place. Now I need to mate them to the cams. So I think what I'll do is, I'll just grab it. So you can slide up and down, but it can't go back and forth. Right? I'm going to make it so I can see the bottom, and I can see the bottom. So you can do the mate constraint easily. I'm going to look at it like that, zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to use what's called the tangent mate. Okay, so I'm going to tangent mate. I'm going to choose the bottom of the rod first, right? So right there, and I'm going to mate it to this surface here. Now this is a little bit funky. This cam actually has 4 surfaces, right? It's got the top sort of semicircle, not quite full semi, but the top part of a circle that we drew, a small circle. It's got the bottom part of a larger circle we drew, and then it's got those 2 lines, those 2 straight edges right here, where we use that tangent line to draw. So it's actually got four surfaces. I'm going to choose that, and it automatically chooses all of them. And I say, okay, all those surfaces. And I've mated that one. Now I'm going to go do the other one. Tangent mate the bottom to this surface, and it also clicked up to the other, those 4 surfaces there that I just mentioned, and I'll accept that one, and that's that. I'm going to back out, I'm going to rotate a little bit, and I'm going to take a look at this thing's motion by going to the revolve mate that's down here somewhere. There it is. I'm going to right click on it and animate, and I'm going to go, well, not 360 is 1 rotation. I'm going to multiply by 10 rotations, but lots of steps so it doesn't go too fast. And then I'll just have it go once and stop. Right? And we'll see what this thing looks like here once we animate it. So let's see if this goes. Yeah, that looks great, right? So these follower rods are doing exactly what a pair cam has a rod do. That is to say, a whole bunch of nothing and then bam, a whole bunch of nothing and then bam. These are the kind of cams that are inside your car's engine. They will rotate, and then at the right time they'll push on a rod to open a valve, and that'll let fuel into the cylinder or let hot gases out of the cylinder, and it's only open for a moment and then it's closed again for the rest of the cycle, right? So those are pair cams in motion.